Yo, welcome to Simply Bitcoin Live, your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution with code-breaking news, culture, matic warfare. We'll be your guide through the separation of money and state. And that's exactly what we are living through these days. Very interesting times. Came out, CNBC article by Mackenzie Sigalo. She's absolutely killing it. The name of the article, which we're going to cover today, we're going to go through a lot of it because it's fascinating. Bitcoin is posed to blow up Africa's $86 billion banking system. Now, what's really interesting, and we say this all the time, right? We say Bitcoin is for those countries. Why? Because if you live, Alex Gladstein wrote a book about this, right? If you live in a country that has financial privilege, to use Alex's words, right? Whether, that's the United States, Europe, you could even say China, Australia, you have developed financial rails in your country, right? So it's very easy to send money. Or you download Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, and it's very, very easy. But, if you live in the global South, right, whether, it's South America, Africa, you don't have those options, right? Your only option is cash, right? There's security risks as cash, right? So Bitcoin is for them. Bitcoin makes it easy to not only send money, but also store money that is deflationary in nature, meaning it gains in purchasing power over time rather than inflationary, right? And remember, in the global South, they don't have the privilege of having a relatively stable fiat currency. They have a currency that is, it's terrible. Look at Argentina, 99% inflation recorded last time, right? So anyways, everybody, before we start the show, I want to bring up my legendary co-host, always optimistic. How you doing, Opti?
I'm doing wonderful, bro. Actually doing very, very good today. I'm drinking enough coffee to kill an elephant. So, I am jacked up for today's stream. Oh, man, what a time. And before I go on, shouts out to Mackenzie. She hangs out in our spaces every once in a while. And it's just beautiful to see journalists from the corporate press finally getting that Bitcoin signal out there. It's almost like it's our meme world and everyone else is just living in it. I say that every single day now. But yeah.
Keep saying it. I
know.
We have to manifest it into reality. We have to bring it into reality.
Laws of attraction. Yeah, man. I'm excited to actually get into all the details. And then on the culture, we kind of got tagged on a Bitcoiners thread over the weekend, and I'm going to basically get a call of action to the DCA army out there, because tomorrow is April 1st, aka April Fool's Day, aka Bitcoin Fool's Day, and I'm gonna get into all this stuff and the importance of the DCA army out there. Ooh, excuse me.
Dude, I mean, it's the DCA army that holds the line, right? They're the buyer of last resort. Michael Saylor calls them what? The
Cyber Hornets.
The Cyber Hornets, right? Anyways, everybody, let's start the show. We have a lot to talk about. Let's check it out.
The Bitcoin numbers.
Brought to you by NODL. At this point, you should be running your own Bitcoin node. If you don't use your own Bitcoin node, you're trusting someone else's. Run your own version of Bitcoin Core, the Lightning Network, Whirlpool, and Dojo, all from the comfort of your own home. And if you're a digital nomad, you have absolutely no excuse, because now you can run a NODL through a virtual private server. Visit nodl.eu today. All right, everybody, before we get to the numbers, I want to tell you about the biggest Bitcoin conference on the face of the earth, Bitcoin 2023. It's going to be hosted in sunny Miami Beach, Florida, May 18th through the 20th, 2023. You can use the promo code SIMPLY to get yourself a big discount on the tickets. I want to go through some of the speaker list because it's absolutely epic. You have Michael Lewis, best-selling author of The Big Short, Moneyball, The Blind Side, and Arthur Hayes, Michael Saylor, Jack Mallers, Casey, creator of Ordinals, Alex Gladstein, Greg Foss, Stacey Herbert, Preston Pish, Matt Odell, Lynn Alden, Peter McCormack, Jeff Booth, Robert Breedlove, Saifedean, and many, many more. You don't want to miss the biggest Bitcoin celebration ever, Bitcoin 2023. Promo code SIMPLY. At the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is $28,450. Sats per dollar, 3,515. Block height, 783,346. Reachable Bitcoin nodes, 16,916. Blocks to halving, 56,654. Halving estimates April 20th, 2024. Total Lightning Network capacity, 5,389 Bitcoin. Capacity value, $153 million US dollars, realized monetary inflation 1.76%, and the market capitalization of Bitcoin 549 billion with a B. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, interesting. We have, they came out with a trailer for the US version of the beginning of a central bank digital currencies. I'm talking about the FedNow payment that suspiciously was released around the same time that Caitlin Long's bank was denied a federal banking charter. We have the video for you guys, about 3 minutes long. Let me play it and then we'll talk about it. Let's check it out.
In today's fast-paced world, time is money. More people, businesses, and organizations are demanding instant payments. That's why the Federal Reserve is developing the FedNow service, a safe and efficient instant payments infrastructure that will modernize the U.S. payment system. The FedNow service will give financial institutions the opportunity to innovate, enabling their customers to send and receive money in seconds, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Funds will settle between financial institutions in real time, which means there's no buildup of interbank obligations, and end users will have access to the funds in seconds. How will the FedNow service work? Imagine the owner of a coffee shop is running low on coffee beans and needs to schedule a quick delivery. She places an order, and the coffee bean company sends her a request for payment. She responds to the request for payment and pays for the coffee beans right then and there through an app from her credit union, which uses the FedNow service. Once she initiates the payment, her credit union screens the payment and sends an ISO 20022 compliant payment message, either directly or through a service provider to the FedNow service over the Federal Reserve's FedLine network. The FedNow service instantly validates the payment message and passes it along to the coffee bean supplier's bank. In real time, the supplier's bank confirms to the FedNow service that it intends to accept the payment, and the FedNow service debits and credits the master accounts of both the shop owners and the coffee bean supplier's financial institutions or the master accounts of their correspondents. The FedNow service also immediately sends a payment message with an advice of credit to the supplier's bank and notifies the shop owner's credit union that settlement is complete. Finally, the supplier's bank credits the supplier's account in near real time, making the funds available. The supplier's bank will have the option of sending a confirmation to the shop owner's credit union that the payment has been posted to the supplier's account, providing the coffee shop owner with certainty that the payment was received. The FedNow service will be designed to be flexible and support a broad range of potential use cases. Banks, credit unions, and other industry providers can use it as a springboard for innovation to support a range of applications such as account-to-account transfers and bill pay. For example, now imagine it's after hours and the shop owner gets a reminder that her car insurance bill is due today. She may be able to avoid a late fee by initiating a bill payment in her credit union app and selecting to pay it now. Later, she repays a friend for a pizza they shared using an app provided by her credit union that clears and settles through the FedNow service. With this service, banks and credit unions can remain competitive by offering the type of payment options customers increasingly expect in today's fast-paced world. The FedNow service will support flexible adoption, allowing financial institutions the option to work with aggregators, processors, and correspondents to adopt the service. Banks and credit unions will also have the option to adopt the full set of FedNow capabilities or sign on as a receive-only participant. The initial launch of the FedNow service will focus on core clearing and settlement capabilities. Additional features will be released in phases to meet evolving industry demands and changes in technology. Get ready for the FedNow service. Learn more at fednow.org.
Oh, sorry. I fell asleep. Holy shit. Was that fucking meme terrible? What the fuck was that, bro? Anyways, it sure sounded a lot like Bitcoin, but you know what they tried to do? They tried to, and I want you guys to remember this because it's very important. They tried to justify the existence of intermediaries. They need those intermediaries. Without those intermediaries, they can't control it, right? So all of those things that just advocate to look at all the things that we could do. You know, someone put we're ISO compliant. You could do all of those things peer-to-peer. You could do all of those things with Bitcoin. And there's fabulous Bitcoin companies that are innovating and building that stuff, right? You don't need that. Right. The reason that that's necessary is because they need intermediaries. They need that. Without the intermediaries, their ability to control the money flows does not exist anymore. And they can't say that. They can't go out and say, look, peer-to-peer bad, you need a bank in the middle, or you need an institution that we can capture, right? So this is interesting. Make no mistake, this is a response to Bitcoin. This is a response. They want to get ahead of this, right? And also make no mistake that, now we say this all the time, and I think it's a very big problem. The people that are supposed to regulate the industry also are the people that stand the most to lose if this industry succeeds, right? So politicians benefit tremendously from having a money printer. They can, promise their voters, their constituents, free programs that we all know aren't really free, right? Endless wars, the defense industry, right? The whole, some people call it the deep state. I personally call it the administrative states, right up in your face. That whole system is funded by the money printer, right? Why is it that politicians that have a, politician's salary are worth tens of millions of dollars? Why is that the case, right? So, and remember, Bitcoin is providing an alternative to that system. So obviously that system is going to try to fight back. This is one iteration of that fight back, right? We also have the Elizabeth Warren, the Restrict Act, right? So we have a lot of fronts, right? A lot of things going on, but we say it in the very beginning of the show. This is the separation of money and state. You are watching it firsthand, right? How do you protect yourself against this, from this? Take self-custody. That's what you do. You just take self-custody of your Bitcoin. You buy Bitcoin, earn Bitcoin, mine Bitcoin, take that Bitcoin, put it in self-custody, properly secure your seed phrase. And that's how we win. If enough people do just that, what I just said, we win, and there's absolutely nothing they could do about it, right? All they have is lies, misrepresentations, and spin. Do you guys remember the European Central Bank meme that came out yesterday? The one that Christine Lagarde had to release because she was tired of Opti out memeing her, right? Do you guys remember that? Basically saying that inflation is caused because workers are asking for more money. You peasants, you're asking for more money. You are the ones responsible for inflation, not us at the central bank. They have fucking lies. That's all they have. Lies, spin, misrepresentations. We have truth on our side, right? All we have to do is shine the bright light of Bitcoin on their bullshit, and keep in mind, right? Don't get distracted by the political divisions of both parties, at least here in the US or anywhere around the world. It's not a left or right issue. I said it yesterday. I tweeted it out. This is a green versus orange issue, right? So don't get distracted by the fiat political parties or the fiat political ideologies. You're for orange or you're for green. If you're for green, you want to control people. If you're for orange, you're for freedom. It's literally as simple as that. Don't try to overcomplicate it. They're going to try to overcomplicate. They're going to try to spin it. They're going to say, no, there's more nuance, terrorism, financial, money laundering, all this fucking bullshit, all these smoke screens. Remember, they used TikTok in order to justify the so-called TikTok ban, which is called the Restrict Act, which had a lot more things in it rather than just TikTok. They needed the smokescreen. They needed the smokescreen in order to justify tyranny, right? Anyways, Opti, what are your thoughts on all this, bro?
Well, hold on. Wait, where is this? Jose, dude, I've had like 4 coffees already, dude. Like I'm good. Thank you for the concern. No, I think the chat killed it on this one. You know me, I'm the one always following what the chat is saying live, and the chat hit the nail on the head. Why were the dollar symbols orange? It's because they're trying to be Bitcoin. They're trying to justify the centralized authority that is the central bank, the Fed now. And maybe it was, like a Freudian slip in the art, or maybe it was, completely intentional, but they were making the dollar symbols orange. It's almost like they're trying to co-opt the Bitcoin message. And what have we said in the past? Bitcoin has forced the conversation, and they would have probably never tried to roll out a FedNow CBDC system if Bitcoin didn't exist. They would just continue to go back into the status quo, just continue to repeat the game. As one fiat crumbles, they'll just spin up another one. This is basically the fiat system. But it's very interesting that even in their propaganda piece, they are using the orange color. Things that make you say, Anyways, again, the chat killed it by pointing out that all they keep talking about is faster digital payments. Like, this is not what Bitcoin's about. Most of us Bitcoiners, all we really want to do is just save in a money that doesn't steal from us. Like, it's very simple. It's a very simple process. What do we ask you guys every single day? Why are we being forced to use a money that steals from us? Why is a small cabal of people in control of the money supply? This is not how it should be or could be, because we have Bitcoin. And again, I really like what you said, Nico. They are going to complicate this issue. Keep it simple, provide value, save in Bitcoin, take Bitcoin into self-custody, and repeat the process. This is all we really want to do, is hold a money that doesn't steal from us so that we can build and prosper in the future. It's as simple as this. 21 million Bitcoin hard cap. It's not about faster payments. It's not about digital payments. It is much more. And Bitcoin is that solution. I just want a money that doesn't steal from me. It's a very simple process, guys. I know they're going to try to conflate the two and complicate things and make us all be criminals or whatever they want to paint us as, but it's a very simple thing. I just want a money that doesn't steal from me. And as long as they avoid that simple topic of it's all about savings and holding a hard money, then you know that they are just trying to co-opt the Bitcoin message and the signal. And again, the chat hit the nail on the head. Why was the dollar orange? It's because they're trying to be Bitcoin, and it'll never be Bitcoin because they have a central authority. They're just trying to justify their existence.
100%. They're trying to justify their existence. They're trying to justify the existence or the necessity of intermediaries, right? Anyways, before we move on to the news segment, we were mentioning about how to win this peaceful revolution, what you got to do is you got to take self-custody of your Bitcoin. But the thing is, if you write down your seed on paper, it's prone to water damage. It can catch on fire. Paper gets old after a while. You got to store your Bitcoin seed phrase, your generational wealth, on the BitPlates domino, easy to use, hard to destroy, preserve Bitcoin wallet backup seed phrases and pad phrases made from highly corrosion resistant 316 marine grade stainless steel, offering the ultimate protection against extremes of temperatures. 10% off all BitPlate products using all caps simply, and visit bitplates.com today to properly secure your seed phrase. Anyways, everybody, let's get to news. We got a lot to talk about. Let's check it out.
The Daily News.
The Daily News is brought to you by Blockstream Jade, built by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. It's an open source hardware wallet for the cold storage of Bitcoin. Check out the brand new limited edition color, the transparent green Jade. Blockstream Jade houses a full color camera, allowing for fully air-gapped Bitcoin transactions, scan and display QR codes directly on the device, assign transactions, and verify addresses with ease. Use your Blockstream Jade with your favorite wallet software, such as Blockstream Green, Blue Wallet, Electrum, Sparrow. Get yourself a Blockstream Jade today and take self-custody of your Bitcoin.
All right, everybody. So we always hear one of the legacy mainstream media's like talking points. They talk a lot about, how Nayib Bukele is a danger to democracy, right? And you guys know the deal. We are apolitical on Simply Bitcoin. We don't really talk about politics because I think they're stupid, to be honest with you. I think if you really want to effectuate change, you got to opt out of the system entirely and put your money in Bitcoin. But I do want to talk about what happened yesterday because of the legacy media, the corporate media, or we like to call it the fiat media, how they treated El Salvador, right? They said, Nayib Bukele is a threat to democracy, even though Nayib Bukele has the highest approval rating in Latin America. They got to the point where they said that because Nayib Bukele is locking gang members in prison, that is somehow a threat to democracy as well. We've heard that narrative many, many times. Well, past President Donald Trump was indicted by a Manhattan grand jury on more than 30 counts related to fraud. Now, However, which way you feel about Donald Trump, I think it's totally irrelevant. What is relevant is the fact that the most popular political opponent against the Biden administration was just charged with the crime, right? And that's what happens in countries that, are so-called don't have stable democracies, right? So it's interesting. It's very, very interesting, right? That these publications are talking about, El Salvador the way they are, even though, in a country that is supposedly, supposedly is the bastion of democracy, just charged the front runner for the opposition with the crime. So here is Nayib Bukele. And he says it best, right? He says, sadly, it will be very hard for U.S. foreign policy to use arguments such as democracy and free, fair elections or try to condemn political persecutions in other countries from now on, right? And he retweeted, of course, Donald Trump getting charged with the crime. So I wanted to start with that because I thought it was very, very interesting. Now, moving on to the next one, right? Which is, I think, the thing that I wanted to talk about today. And again, remember, what it reminds me of, Opti? Nayib Bukele's very, very famous article, right? What was it called again? I totally forget.
Don't drink the elites Kool-Aid.
Don't drink the elites Kool-Aid. And it literally specifically says, like, the thing that they have is the control on truth, right? And I think that's really the message there, right? Is that, it doesn't matter that, other countries are, basically being total hypocrites, as long as the powers that be, the incumbents are the ones with the narrative, it's totally okay. And I think that is total effing BS. It is BS, bro. 100%. Anyways, I wanted to cover, and again, regardless of your political ideology, right? It doesn't matter. Like we literally do not care about that. I think it's BS, right? When the Republicans get in power, it's like, oh, the Democrats are like, the Republicans are the cause of all your woes. And then when the Democrats get in power, the Republicans do literally the exact same thing, right? If we actually want to fix what is going on, you got to fix the money, fix the world. That's what we want to stay focused on. And that's why they attacked Nayib Bukele the way they did. It has nothing to do with democracy. It has to do with the fact that Nayib Bukele chose to use money that is out of the established power system, out of the controls of the IMF, out of the control of the World Bank. And that is why they went after him. And they're using every single tool possible, any single narrative that will stick, to go after him. That's what it is about. El Salvador is a bastion of freedom. It is literally the shining light on the hill. People that left Central America for years and years are going back to Central America to go back to El Salvador. That is unheard of. That has never happened before. And people are noticing. We played you the video of Tim Pool talking about it yesterday. And I think that next cycle, 2024, 2025, it will be undeniable. You will not be able to deny what is happening in El Salvador. And you will also, and public companies will not be able to deny what is happening with Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy, proving that Bitcoin is a viable alternative to holding fiat on your balance sheet. Anyways, I want to focus on this today. It is a pretty long article. I want to give a shout out also to Mackenzie Sigalos. She continues to drop amazing stuff. So the headline of the article, CNBC for our audio listeners, is Bitcoin is posed to blow up Africa's $86 billion banking system. It goes on to say, Jack Dorsey and his top brass descend on Accra for the inaugural Africa Bitcoin Conference in December to talk about one of the most potentially disruptive and transformative alternatives to the continent's existing financial system, Bitcoin. This parallel financial system can also serve a tangible social good, offering an on-ramp to the financial system for people who would otherwise be left out. In countries where the vast majority of the population is unbanked, national currencies are no longer a safe store of value. Remittances comprise a hefty portion of GDP, and international sanctions complicate connections to the global economy. A virtual currency that doesn't require an intermediary to approve transactions can be a vital lifeline for survival. It goes on to say, moving money in Africa is an expensive and complicated process. Commercial bank branch access is limited, especially for people living in remote and rural areas. Digital banking options are also limited. Tack on rampant hyperinflation, widespread government corruption, capital controls, trapping domestic cash in banks, and money can stop making sense altogether. Quote, if someone wants to move money to the country next door, normally you'd have to fill up a suitcase full of cash and move it over the border. Part of the problem stems from the continent's quasi-colonial payment framework, in which roughly 80% of cross-border payments originating from African banks are processed offshore, mostly in the US or Europe. That translates to higher costs and processing times that are sometimes measured in weeks. Then there's mobile money, which has been around since the early 2000s. Think of it like an electronic wallet tied to a phone number that does not require a smartphone or data to operate. Users can pay bills and shop with their phone through SMS texting instead of having to rely on traditional banking options. Mobile money users don't get the perks of legacy banking, including earning interest on bank savings and building up based on the history of spending. Interoperability on the content also remains a major issue with this alternative way of banking. The entire banking system in Africa completely and utterly broken, even amongst the mobile money providers, the telcos, 2,000 payment networks, and only 2% of them talk to each other. That number continues to grow. It's not getting better. It's actually getting worse. Companies like Western Union and MoneyGram offer an expensive physical network of storefronts around the world to move money for those who are banked. That cash network was extraordinarily difficult and expensive to build, which is why there aren't a lot of direct competitors. It is also why those cash transfers offer and incur substantial fees. Bitcoin could eliminate all those intermediaries, allowing citizens to send digital payments directly to one another without relying on credit, without incurring multiple settlement fees along the way. Quote, we're going to move to a model where we can make payments without IOUs or credits or promises or fiat, said Alex Gladstein, Chief Strategy Officer for the Human Rights Foundation, an organization that works with activists from authoritarian regimes around the world. Quote, it's literally like sending a piece of gold or a $20 bill instantly somewhere else. Quote, if you can get access to the internet, you can settle Bitcoin payments, said Brock, quote, and the government can't do anything about it. And I think that's really the signal there. And look, we have to understand that, most people don't have the privilege that we have in the West, where we have these developed financial rails. In Africa, it is literally perfect for the Bitcoin use case, right? Most people have mobile phones. The internet, the hard lines of the internet are less developed, they're less built out than the mobile system. Most people that they've built out cell towers in Africa more than they've built out the hard lines, which is the exact opposite of how it was built out here in the West, right? So most people have a mobile phone, meaning most people are connected to, or I'm not saying most people, but a good amount of people are connected to the internet. And if they're connected to the internet, that means they could use Bitcoin. And even if they're not connected to the internet, there's a Blockstream satellite literally orbiting, in outer space. And I'm sure it's going to get better and better and better, right? There's also mesh networks. I guess what I'm trying to say is that there is no good solution to either storing money if you live in Africa or sending money if you live in Africa. Bitcoin is the solution to that. And I'm glad that, multiple entrepreneurs are trying to figure that out, whether it is Jack Mahler's company. They recently announced that they teamed up with an exchange called BitNob. And basically, they're going to use the Strike, specifically the Lightning Network, to launch a feature called Send Globally that allows Americans to transfer money to people living in Nigeria, Ghana, and Kenya. Now, what's really interesting about this, though, is that it just uses Bitcoin, it just uses Lightning, but it doesn't even, behind the hood, it doesn't even force you to use Bitcoin if you don't want to. You can send fiat, right? But it's using Bitcoin. It's using the Lightning Network to make all of that happen under the hood, right? Obviously, we're all Bitcoiners. We want hyper Bitcoinization. right? But during the transition period, I think it's a good, hand-holding type of feature, right? So it's really exciting. I'm really excited for, the people of Africa. I'm really excited that Bitcoin gives them this opportunity that, in the West, we take this completely for granted. Like we don't even, to us, we're completely blind to it. We're not even aware that this is even possible, right? So I don't know, man. I think it's really cool. I think it's really neat. Opti, what are your thoughts, bro?
Well, first and foremost, to where you started this news segment, it's not about right or left. It's about orange versus green. And you brought up the Bukele article, Don't Drink the Elite's Kool-Aid. And I was kind of thinking of another article by another person that's in El Salvador, Max Kaiser's article that was in the Physical Bitcoin magazine. Who's the Banana Republic now? And it's, as someone that is an American, first generation American, it really does feel like America is becoming a banana republic itself. Clown World confirm. And it's just really, on the one hand, just incredible to see this play out in real time, but also, again, being optimistic and seeing a silver lining, hopeful that America, there's still hope for us to turn this ship around. Anyways, to the article by Mackenzie. First, shout out to Mackenzie. She's been doing a great job covering Bitcoin, even though, she does work for the corporate press and she probably gets a lot of flack for that from Bitcoiners. You just love to see it. You love to see these stories because not only was it good journalism, but also it's very hopeful and inspiring and kind of a slap in the face to all the people that, basically take a very negative bent to Bitcoin. And I might rant here a little bit because sometimes it's really disheartening when people think that Bitcoin is just for rich people. And I love pointing out scenarios like this of what's happening in Africa, because I know what Bitcoin's done for me personally in my life. I know what it's done to a lot of my friends in America. And I just love to see this happen in non-Western countries or the global South as it's coined, because innovation will no longer get stifled. You don't have to be in America or a first world country to innovate and to prosper anymore, because we have Bitcoin, and smart individuals will prosper from all corners of the world. And you just love to see it. Like, we are really in the future now, because you can't stop innovation as much as governments want to regulate and stifle innovation. Human ingenuity will win out in the end. So I just love seeing projects like this. I love seeing stories like this. Shouts out to Machinkura that has connected non-smartphones onto Bitcoin. It just, man, this is the type of stuff that makes me inspired. And it's just like, okay, I know we're doing the right thing, but now I know for sure when we continuously hear stories of people prosper, that we are really doing the right thing. And seeing stuff like this in corporate press really counters a couple FUD lines. Like, what about having no internet and I don't have enough money to buy Bitcoin? And now we can just continuously point to examples like this. And it's like, look, you have no excuses. If you have any excess cash right now, you need to save some of it in Bitcoin. And further, it's almost looking like, fiat monies in the Western world are in a rough place right now anyways. So it's almost like you want to get some, because maybe it does catch on. And yeah, shouts out to Vague. He says the same thing that I was saying. Mackenzie is one of the few decent mainstream journalists. So shouts out to Mackenzie. Really appreciate everything you're doing. Continue to beat the drum that the corporate press just continuously FUDs Bitcoin, and their incentives are exposed if they don't see what Bitcoin will bring to the world. Someone said it earlier, if you are pro fiat, then you are anti-human. Being a Bitcoin means that you want to see humanity, or being a Bitcoiner means that you want to see humanity prosper and move into the digital future that we currently find ourselves in. It's digital money for a digital world, and it's the best way to save. So I just love seeing countries and individuals around the world start to adopt the Bitcoin standard, because it will make the world a better place.
Beautiful. 100%, bro. Completely agree with you. Anyways, everybody, let's get to the culture. We have a lot to talk about. Let's check it out.
The Daily Culture.
brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. We love Swan because they incentivize self-custody and dollar cost averaging. What are you waiting for? Visit SwanBitcoin.com today.
All right, guys, I also want to tell you about Swan's new offer. Bitcoin is generational wealth, and you can secure your bright orange future with the Swan IRA. Real Bitcoin, no taxes. Swan offers both traditional and Roth options to best fit your needs. Create your IRA and start adding Bitcoin in less than 1 minute. Transfers and rollovers are available. Swan's Bitcoin experts will get you set up with no transfer fees and no minimum balance requirements. This is real Bitcoin, not an ETF or other derivative. Get the real thing and get it at Swan. Go to swan.com/IRA for more details. Of course, if you have any questions, doubts, concerns, you can always send me a Twitter DM and I'll be happy to answer them. Anyways, Opti, what are we talking about today, brother?
All right, so we got tagged in this tweet over, I think the first time we got tagged was over the weekend. And you know me, I love coordinated Bitcoin buys. And, in context, I've tried to do some of these in the past and they didn't go over so well. So we'll see if this time's different. But hey, this is still part of the ethos of get more people stacking and why we should do it. So we got this thread here. Actually, it's a tweet by Jono Spears, aka at Bitcoin Infinity on Twitter, and he's been tagging us in these posts like all week. So I told him that I would talk about it on Today's Culture. Anyways, the first tweet that came on my radar from Jono was this one right here that I have for you guys, and he goes, "We are at an inflection point in financial history. If I'm honest, I don't care about freaking bankers, VC, the stock market, or crypto. What I want is sound money that cannot be deflated to pay off bad government decisions, wars, and agendas that do not reflect my values and that I did not vote for. All I want is to be able to work in a job that serves society and to convert this energy plus time into a money that I can save in and trust for my kids and for my family and to pay for the workers of others. I'm pretty sure that is also what 99% of people want." And I couldn't agree more. Anyways, he's calling for a coordinated stack on April 1st, tomorrow at 8 p.m. GM time. What's it? General Mountain time. I don't know what that converts into Eastern time. But he said, make a symbolic stand, hashtag Bitcoin Fool's Day, buy a small, and I'm going to add a large sum of BTC and take it off the exchange. And he goes, who is with me? He's calling, an arms to action. And the reason not only did I want to call some attention to this because, like I said, I love coordinated Bitcoin buys. We saw what it is capable of doing if enough people do a coordinated Bitcoin buy. And what I'm referencing is the GameStop and the AMC debacle. Well, they can't shut off Bitcoin like they did for GameStop and AMC. And so maybe, tomorrow won't be the day that we finally decouple and the Bitcoin DCA army finally takes this to the moon. But I think it is an important thing to do anyways, because I brought some articles and stuff that we reference all the time. The piece by Corey, The Race to Avoid the War. And then the next piece, again by Corey, 10 million Bitcoiners, the intransigent minority. This is what it's all about, guys. It's about getting a large majority of the population, but we only need a small minority of the population stacking Bitcoin consistently, whether that is DCAing daily, weekly, monthly, or lump sum buying daily, weekly, or monthly. It's about getting enough people in the DCA army stacking Bitcoin, because at a certain point, we eat up all the Bitcoin, you take it off the exchange, and then we finally get into the price discovery mode. So I've covered these articles on the show a lot of times, and I'm not going to cover them again. But there is a point here, and this is the math. And shouts out to my boy Jacob from Swan, because he keeps kind of correcting me, because I always forget to use the word the intransigent minority. And this comes from an idea.
Wait, what were you saying? What were you saying before?
I was saying intolerant minority, which is not the right way. It's another I word. So it's almost the same thing. To hashtag my toxic Bitcoiners. Anyways, this idea of the intransigent minority comes from Nassim Nicholas Taleb. I know he's an anti-Bitcoiner now, and it's from his book, Skin in the Game. But he goes, for most observed complex systems, the minority contingent required to flip a population to comply with their intransigent views is in the 3 to 4% range. With a US population of 325 million, 3% is 10 million. And this is where Swan gets their call of the 10 million Bitcoiners on the bright orange future. And I'm also reminded of a statistic from my buddy Brandon, who not only does he do epic rants with me every single day on our Twitter spaces, but he reminds me that the American Revolution was basically fought by the same intransigent minority of 3% of the, newfound Americans. And this is all we need. Like, I know we want everyone to get on the Bitcoin standard, but if you are a Bitcoiner, you remember the meme of the Bitcoin remnant. And this is who we are speaking to. You guys out there spreading the signal, stacking sats consistently. This is how we decouple from the madness. And we basically take the Bitcoin away from the gamblers and the speculators and the traders. Anyways, I tried to find some statistics. It's very hard to find the statistic of how many people are actually Bitcoiners, but I did find this website by Bitcoin Worldwide, and we're going to use this as our given. And this doesn't necessarily mean toxic Bitcoiners that stack consistently, but as you can see from here on by Bitcoin Worldwide, they're making a guess that there's about 106 million Bitcoin owners. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean the DCA army of people buying Bitcoin consistently. This is probably people that have some exposure to Bitcoin. And again, I did a little more math. Math is not my strong suit, but I found some people that are relatively good at math. And shouts out to Creases BTC on Twitter. And he goes, currently the world's collective allocation to Bitcoin is just 0.05%. Now, obviously, this math is a little off because he's using the $4 trillion Bitcoin market cap out of the 900 trillion total addressable markets. And as Nico showed us today, it's roughly around like 550 billion right now. So, 0.55 trillion. Either way, it's still a very, very small amount of the collective total addressable market in the world. So I'm going to still use that like 0.05% range of that's how much, market share Bitcoiners have. But if you do, again, some rudimentary math, I did, again, some basic math, guys, so don't hold me to this, but just so you can get your ideas out here, and I know someone's going to be like, actually, if you break down this $550 billion market cap and you divide that by the alleged 106 million people that are Bitcoin owners, then we can say roughly on average, people hold about 5,000 Bitcoin. And, give or take, this is average, this is not median. There's a range of Michael Saylors to people that just hold a little bit of Bitcoin. So we can see where we are right now. Anyways, I say all that to basically get into the idea of what should you be doing? Should you be lump summing or should you be dollar cost averaging? And shouts out to Jono because we're basically telling you guys to lump sum. And Alpha Zeta did a great thread on Twitter and he broke down the whole difference between lump sum and dollar cost averaging. And he basically realized that lump sum over time is probably the best, but it doesn't negate the point that still stands. And also, shouts out to Wicked Smart Bitcoin because he did the same analysis and they both came to the same understanding that lump sum is much better in Bitcoin saving strategy compared to DCA. But, big but, shouts out to my boy, Friar Haas McCook. He's been a little quiet lately, but when I was going through this, I remembered of something that he was saying a long time ago and for a long, long time of how the DCA army will drive the price of Bitcoin to $1 million per Bitcoin. Now, go look this up on Bitcoin Mag because he does all the math. But essentially, the TLDR of this is once we get enough people out there stacking Bitcoin consistently. It's basically a small amount of Bitcoin. I forget what his math was, but he was saying, once we get essentially to the same kind of idea that Corey says, if we get 10 million Bitcoiners stacking $10 a day, then the price floor of Bitcoin is set and the Bitcoin price is going to go parabolic. And it's only a matter of time until we all get people on the mission. So this is why I wanted to double down on this idea by Jono of let's get these calls of actions and coordinated buys today or tomorrow rather, so that we can continue to beat the drum of the DCA army. What is most important, in my opinion, is consistently buying Bitcoin. But you can see here from another thread from Alpha Zeta. He goes, regardless of what you're trying to optimize in your portfolio, including an allocation, even a small allocation of Bitcoin improves the result. So it's kind of back to the idea, guys. You might want to own some just in case it catches on. And this is where we get to what Jonah was saying. Tomorrow's April 1st, or as he's coining it, Bitcoin Fool's Day. Stack some Bitcoin. If you still have fiat, I responded to him. I'm like, wait, you guys still have fiat? What's going on here? But if you have some dry powder, tomorrow, April 1st, 8 p.m., General Mountain Time, buy some Bitcoin. He says, spot buy a small amount of Bitcoin. I would double down and say spot buy a lot of Bitcoin. And his little meme, let's show these bankers and traders who's boss. Now, if you think you have no effect on the market, again, I want you to remember the GameStop and AMC debacle that we saw a few years ago. And the fact of the matter is, if enough people are buying Bitcoin, then we are the market. We are the ones driving the price. And again, I'm reminded of my other friend, Vikingo. And he says, if we only had 15 million people buying one Bitcoin, the price would be crazy high right now. And this is the point. You want to be stacking Bitcoin consistently. Now, I know there's some nuance in the DCA versus the lump sum strategy. Personally, I capitulate my fiat as soon as I get it because I can't hold on to dollars. But once it's in Bitcoin, it's like a black box. And I feel a lot safer holding that Bitcoin for the long term versus if I have dollars, I instantly want to spend it. So, hey, I would just recommend, again, and this is from the richest man in Babylon, take 10% of your paycheck, capitulate it into Bitcoin. Don't touch it. Look at it as your 401k, your retirement for the long term. What we're doing here is saving. But again, if you think you have no effect on the market, I brought some last receipts. And this is kind of a troll from Dylan LeClaire, but shouts out to him because there is some receipts behind it. He goes, okay, hear me out. The Bitcoin order book is so illiquid that if we all dig through our couch cushions and punt our spare change, we can send Bitcoin to $1 million in one candle. Who's
Bars.
With me?
Bars.
Yeah, listen.
And he says, all jokes aside here, here's an insightful thread from Connor Ryder. And if you want to go check this out, there is an article on CoinDesk. But the TLDR of this article and this thread here is Bitcoin's markets haven't been this thin in 10 plus months. So it's really about people out there stacking sats consistently, daily, monthly, weekly. And this is how not only individuals opt out of the fiat matrix, but how we set a steady floor for Bitcoin. And shouts out to Friar Haas McCook for laying the groundwork and this idea of the importance of the DCA army. We've been talking about this for a long time. We always talk about the importance of the DCA army and you guys stacking sats daily. You know, Strike has the hourly feature. There's a bunch of DCA apps. Swan has the DCA apps. It's all about the DCA, guys, so that we can get a steady floor so that, hey, if these traders, these gamblers, these speculators want to speculate on Bitcoin, we will eat it up. We will take that Bitcoin into self-custody. We will take the Bitcoin off an exchange. And the less Bitcoin on an exchange, the more they will have to charge to get our Bitcoin out of our cold storage. It's pure incentives and pure economics. So guys, hey, if you still have fiat, maybe put your hat in the ring tomorrow, April 1st, 8 p.m. GMT. And let's see this DCA army finally take hold, man.
Bro, if you still have fiat, set up a DCA on Swan and chill. Forget about it, you know?
Yeah.
And then over time, man, it just builds up over time. That Bitcoin is saving. See it that way. I think you hit the nail on the head, Opti, right there.
Oh, wait, hold on. I messed up. GMT is not General Mountain Time. It's Greenwich Mean Time. All right. It's 5 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time. So April 1st, 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time is 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you, Scott A. Wolf on Twitter. Hey, math's hard.
Oh man. But yeah, bro, dude, I think that if more people woke up to that reality, right? You know, just take a portion of your paycheck, you know, literally set it, forget it, you know, come back in a couple years and watch your savings grow, man. This is the power of a deflationary currency, man. Increases in purchasing power over time. So, you know, even if you put up a little bit, man, it starts to build up over time. The problem is that most people save and earn in fiat, right? It's a very depressing mindset. You constantly have to work harder. Jack Mallers and I think it was who else said it, right? They went on CNBC and they said it, right? They said, you know, if energy and housing prices are up 30% last year, it's not 6.5%, right? So if it's, you know, if that inflation rate is really that high, right? Theoretically, are you earning 20 to 30% more than you were last year? If the answer is no, you're earning less, right? And imagine that in a worldwide, imagine that phenomenon on a worldwide level, right? It's horrible, and it causes anxiety, and people can't save for a better future, right? Now we have Bitcoin, right? You can earn and save into money that not only is it not inflationary, it's deflationary. It actually increases in purchasing power over time, which means it gives you the ability to plan out for, you know, Corey says it best, right? That bright orange future, plan out for a future, man. And imagine that ability, but everyone has the ability. It's not just confined to the very wealthy that have the means to save in assets. Therefore, they do benefit from asset inflation, but everyone else kind of gets poorer, and specifically the lower and middle classes, right? Now, imagine if the lower middle classes had the ability to plan for the future. Holy cow. Imagine if most of society wasn't living paycheck to paycheck. That future is freaking possible. And it's possible under a Bitcoin standard. And you know what? That Fed now bullshit that we saw in the beginning, that doesn't fix inflation. They don't mention inflation. They can't mention inflation because it's indefensible. That's why they're choosing to ignore it, right? They can say all they want, but they do not have an answer to that. They're efficient payments. You need a central bank. Why do you need a central bank? And they don't even take responsibility. Remember the central bank meme yesterday that was released by, you know, the European Central Bank, of which Opti's ex-girlfriend, Chrissy Lagarde, is the head of. Remember that meme? They said that it's because of workers asking for more money that is the root cause of inflation. What type of propaganda bullshit spin is that? Enough is enough. Opt the F out. You know, set up your DCA on Swan, best place to build your Bitcoin stack. Set it to forget it. Swan and chill. Forget about it. That's it. That's all you got to do. And of course, take self-custody of that Bitcoin. Take self-custody. Literally take self-custody. Forget about it, you know, and tap into it maybe in the future, or pass it on to your kids, you know. Anyways.
Hey, wait, Nico, before we go, I just want to like kind of double down, because we did get like a little theoretical and ideological at a moment. But like, guys, we have eaten our own dog food. Me and Nico, and we've told you guys this on the show multiple times. We have done this process for ourselves. And, you know, at times, hey, we were basically, you know, we were in our parents' house. We were on friends' couches, and we just put everything we could, every paycheck, into Bitcoin. And as number goes up, you start to free your human capital. You start to find this Bitcoin Zen, and you realize, okay, I can start to focus on things that I want to do. And we're seeing this play out on a global level, on an individual level, on a corporate level, and even on a nation state level. And it's just beautiful to see, guys. Like, trust the process, put the steps to work, provide the value, save in Bitcoin, take your Bitcoin into self-custody, and repeat this process, and you will escape the fiat matrix. They don't want you to do this, so this is what you have to do to take back your life as a human. And
100%. Take back your work, your energy, your time. And I think the best way to do that is Bitcoin. Anyways, everybody, let's get to the meme review. We got a lot to review. Some memes. Let's check it out.
The Daily Meme Review.
Brought to you by Kaboomracks. I get this question all the time. Nico, where should I buy Bitcoin miners? The answer is Kaboomracks. It's the best place to buy Bitcoin miners. That's where you're going to find the best deals and the best prices. Start your mining utopia today. To check out their racks, you got to go to t.me/Kaboomracks. Join their Telegram group and start your mining journey today. Kaboomracks.
Kaboom.
Kaboom.
Kaboom. Kaboom.
Honestly, the little story time. The reason we were even able to get the Kaboom Rack sponsor is because I was sitting there with Alex from Kaboom Racks, and he just kept coming up, Kaboom Racks. Like, wow, you guys have the best name ever. Kaboom.
They do have the best fucking name ever. That is a fucking great name. Kaboom Racks.
Okay,
Where do you buy your Bitcoin miners?
Kaboom
Racks.
Wow. ASMR there. Kaboom. All right, anyway, this is the meme review, guys, your favorite portion of the show where you can troll us out, where you send us your memes. We cover them live. So tag us in the memes on Twitter. Send us memes in our Telegram group. I will scour the internet and find the memes that you send us, and I will cover as many as I can as possible on the show. Anyways, you guys already know the meme. Within the meme review, tweets are the bullets, memes are the artillery. We are in an information war. If it has never been clear to you, I hope it becomes clear to you on this day. There is a war on information, and the truth is the light, and Bitcoin is that truth. So spread the signal, continue to get the calls of action, continue to put truth in art, and we will continue to orange pill the world. Anyways, this first meme is by Dom Bay, and he goes, Baywatch1, at Baywatch1. Okay, and he goes, Nintendo presents hashtag BTC old money punch out. And we got a pic here of a Nintendo boxing game, and we got the White House, and we got banks as competitors, and we have the Fed and Binance and Charlie Munger and old money as Mike Tyson and the SEC, and we got Fed now and venture capitalists and altcoins and pomp. And we have the lone Bitcoiner. And this is who you guys are. This is who we are competing. And we got the prize of financial freedom. And we got a little Mario over here that says, not any regulatory agencies because Mario is fair, neutral, and highly trusted. Oh, I love that one, Baywatch. Okay, this next one is by our friend at 21JCLP. And he goes, be unstoppable, Bitcoiners, hashtag Bitcoin 24/7. And we got this, Bitcoin Poseidon with laser eyes, and it says be unstoppable, and he's got the peak
Poseidon,
the peak Bitcoin physique here. That's what
yellow actually looks like.
Honestly, I hope so. That'd be lit. No wonder he's hiding. It's too much sexy. Anyways, this next meme is by Crypto Graffiti, and we covered this yesterday. Is Liz Warren with her anti-crypto army, and we got the classic Bitcoin template of the old granny with the caretaker, and it goes, I'm in the army. Sure you are, Liz. Let's get you to bed. Okay, anti-army squad wrecked. This next one is by @SellerSquidC. And yesterday, again, we covered this yesterday. The ECB drops an article blaming inflation on energy prices, seeking higher profits, and wanting higher wage. Inflation is caused by the money printer, Chrissy. Anyways, we got here Christine Lagarde fixing her glasses, looking at the Bitcoin price, and the Bitcoiners giving thumbs up because we are pumping. And Bitcoin is the best asset in Q1 of 2023. The world in disbelief, normies in disbelief. Anyways, perfect ending to today's show. A nice little bow tie on today's show. This is a meme by @the BTC Therapist, and he goes, the yield is never free, hashtag Bitcoin. And we got a mouse trap, and we got a dead mouse in the mouse trap, and the mouse trap is named Fed Now. And you got a little sticky note that says risk-free yield, and you got some dollars in his pockets. He's getting wrecked by fiat system, and he's trying to get another $100 bill. And his work briefcase has Silvergate and Wells Fargo and Bank of America and Credit Suisse and JP Morgan, SVB and First Republic Bank and Signature Bank. And his portfolio is absolutely wrecked because the yield is never free. Stack Bitcoin, take Bitcoin into self-custody, and protect yourself from the madness. Anyways, this next one is by Samson Mao, aka Excellion on Twitter. And he goes, clean up, hashtag Bitcoin, @Greenpeace USA. And you can see this is just a picture. This isn't much of a meme, but the meme is the picture itself. And you can see on the street the inevitable end of fiat currencies when they hyperinflate. They are literally polluting the city because they are worthless, and it's just trash in the gutter. Take your money out of the fiat monies and save in Bitcoin. This next one, Nico, any chance I get to troll you out on the meme review, I'm going to use. So shouts out to @monocle mustache. And he goes, hey, Simply Bitcoin, is this a meme for tomorrow's show? And it's a play again on the before Bitcoin, a little naive, clean cut Nico. And then currently on Bitcoin is the current incarnation of Nico that we see right here on the show. Look at him, wrecked. And then the final form of Nico, we are still wondering what the final form of Nico will be. But hey, if it ends up looking like this, it looks like a Santa Claus version of Nico with orange sunglasses on and a Bitcoin logo on his hat. I think it means that we are winning. So this next and last meme, this is on Nico's account. Actually, he stole this meme from me, from our Simply Bitcoin meme Telegram group. So this is a wine original, and it's from, what is it, Parks and Recreation, right? With Ron Swanson. He goes, sir, you can't just send money anywhere. And Ron Swanson goes, not to worry, I have a permit. And it's the letter, and it goes, go fuck yourself, Bitcoin. You can't tell me what I can do with my money. This is a feature, not a bug. This is the energy. I can do what I want with my money, boys and girls, girls and boys. And this is why we love Bitcoin. Why are we being forced to use a money that steals from us? Why can a small cabal of people tell us what we can do with our money? It doesn't have to be this way. And it isn't.
Money doesn't have to steal from you, bro.
Very simple. Drop your meme review score in the chat, and we will cover it live as we cover ours. Anyways, my meme review score for today, Nico, since we are telling people to take their Bitcoin into self-custody consistently, it's not as good as what do you have? Marine grade resistant steel over there, but it is a wallet backup card.
Oh, rip it in front of us.
Oh, rip it. Wow.
Rip it. Yeah. That's why you need a bit plate.
Wow, that's why you need.
You can't rip a bit plate, bro. Can't rip a bit plate. You gotta put your backup seed phrase on a bit plate. Promo code Simply. Anyways, I'm gonna give it this 2 terabyte SSD. Come on, you can focus, camera. There we go. Boom. That's what I'm gonna give it. Anyways, before we get to the meme scores, I'm gonna give a shout out to our awesome clothing sponsor, Represent LTD.com. Opti and I wear the merch every single day. It's stylish. It's comfortable. Where's the promo code? I can't find it. Here it is. Simply-Bitcoin, and you can get yourself a 10% discount. Simply-Bitcoin, Represent LTD.com today.
Wait, before we get to a meme review score, Nico, we're getting calls in the chat for you to buzz your head.
Yeah, I'm already touching the tips with BTC sessions. You're gonna bleach them. I might get a streak. I might get a streak. Anyways.
Oh my god.
Here's the music. All right, the P-Man van. I give the memes a dozen bananas for Lizzie's toothless, geriatric, brain-dead, corrupt army. More diapers now. We don't agree with that message. Okay, Bitcoin for Canadians. I give those memes Nico becoming the ZZ top of Bitcoin. Haha.
Hey.
Very, very nice. Thanks, brother. Elaine, all the new Bitcoiners created when they realized the central CBC trap. CBCD. Next one, Opti's estranged grand sister-in-law. I give the memes one of my sister's money printers.
What is a grand sister-in-law?
I don't know. That's a really good question. All right, Igor, I give those memes the pressure gauge from the escape valve. Very, very nice.
Ooh, AKA
nice. Next one, Bitcoin Becca. I give the memes one fiat paycheck to smash by on April 1st, Bitcoin Fool's Day. Very, very nice.
Let's go. Okay.
Very nice.
That's so far going once, going twice.
And
we got one in.
Okay, in the nick of time. I give the memes a future voicemail to Opti because he didn't answer of Christine Lagarde wailing, saying she was wrong about Bitcoin. Take me back, Opti.
Hold on. I got my answer already queued up.
No.
Oh, we're just gonna respond with yellow
with
soundboard.
yellow.
Anyways, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. If you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. Smash that like button. Consider subscribing if you feel like we provided you value. But the number one thing you could do to spread the peaceful Bitcoin revolution is share this content. In fact, share all Bitcoin content. We love you all. Have an amazing weekend. And we will see you on Monday for a brand new episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. Oh, also, if you want to hold down the party, hey, Opti, why don't you tell everybody about the spaces today? Because we're changing it up.
Yeah, guys. So we're doing something a little different today on Twitter Spaces. Usually we continue the conversation from the show, but we have a few of our writers today, Macro Minutes and Mike Hobart. We're going to talk about what the implications of de-dollarization actually mean in the world. Hopefully give you guys some sobering thoughts on it and less of the doom pouring out there. So jump in on Twitter Spaces right now. I don't know how long we're going to go, but if you have questions on this, we have our boys sitting in the spaces right now, and we're going to talk about de-dollarization and what's happening with the BRICS nation. So this is, the sauce you're not going to get on the show right now is on Twitter Spaces. So come join us.
Absolutely, 100%. And also shout out to Swan Bitcoin, who co-hosts the Twitter Spaces with us. Best place to build your Bitcoin stack. And also shout out to the best producer in the game, producer Jacob. Anyways, love you all. See you on Monday, 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live.